Once again, it's a wonderful Sunday. It's a blessing to be alive. For truly there is power in Jesus to break every chain. I'm Dave Williams, host of the program Transforming Lives, along with my co-host, Jackie Gardner, our technician, Pastor Lyndon Williams. Once again, we're on another wonderful Sunday afternoon. And I must say to you, this program generated quite a lot of interest when I sent it out and I shared the information. And I'm going to use this opportunity also to share the response of a number of individuals. We have 1 hour on the air, but we can continue for at least another half hour via Zoom. So I just want to let you know that. Thank those of you who are here on time. It's a wonderful day. And I want to share a few announcements with you as usual. We're live on Cable TV 974. We are also on Global 99.5 via radio. We are on Zoom. We are on Facebook. And we are also on YouTube. You can simply go to Transforming Lives Radio Show, put it in on Facebook or Zoom, and you can join us any one of those social media. Or those of you can WhatsApp me 433-6917 and say, Dave, send me the link, and I will send the link to you. So that's 433-6917. I see some message in the chat. Is anyone saying that they can't hear me clear? Let me know in the Zoom. Anybody saying, okay, I guess not. But I just want to share a few announcements before we begin. There's a South South. We want to support this young lady. It's a group having a South South next week, Sunday. And I want to invite persons, US Open Junior and Senior Judo Championship. Thank you, Gigi. She says she can't hear me. And so I just want to invite persons next week to go down the police station in Elizabeth Estates, right behind the police station. Support them. There's chicken sauce for $12, boiled fish for $12, veggie sauce for $12. So that's next week, Sunday, 8 to 12 noon at the, right just behind the police station in Elizabeth Estates. I'm encouraging you to support. You can call 808 Pastor Williams. Can you put these numbers in the chat for me, please? 808-6839 or 817-3622. I repeat, 808-6839 or 817-3622. And if you wish more information, as usual, you can WhatsApp me 433-6917. I know they're looking for some support. They need about 100 napkins, 100 spoons, 100 cups, 16 ounce with lids. And so if you're able to make a donation, simply WhatsApp me at 433-6917. And we'll be able to support them not only with the South South, but supplying the items. Also, I want to remind you today, I want to thank those of you who support us, Prison Fellowship Bahamas, for our cookout. We apologize for the challenges we had. We're hoping to, there are a number of individuals I think did not get any food, but we promise to make that up. If you find yourself in that situation and you have your ticket, WhatsApp me at 433-6917. 433-6917. I will reach out to you. And then we want to remind you of a number of events taking place. As those of you who know me, you know I'm all about the men's them. I'm about uplifting men. And so we have a number of events coming up to support our men. I want to welcome those of you joining us, some friends of mine in the Turks and Caicos Island. Also, 1 or 2 I know in Canada who are live. And for those of you who are in the US, I also want to welcome you. But I want to tell you about an event coming up, and they will be our guests next week. The Bahamas Male Consortium. We're coming together as men led by Dr. Robin Roberts, who have a passion for men. And if you know anything about Dr. Robin Roberts, he's the prostate doctor, but he has a passion for men. We use the term saving our men, all right? Teaching our boys just before they become men. But what we want to do, we're having a number of events for the month of June. And so I want to just tell you about those events coming up. I don't want you to miss it. As usual, you can WhatsApp me 433-6917 if you wish any further information. But beginning on the 15th of this month, there's a men's symposium that's being held at the Gary and Myrtle Curry Auditorium. That's in Centerville, right where I think it's Evangelistic Temple Churches, right? But it's called the Bahamas Male Consortium, Men Get Involved, Gary and Myrtle Curry Youth Center, Evangelistic Temple, Collins Avenue. We're having a seminar, symposium. A number of individuals, Dr. Robin Roberts would be giving us the welcome remarks, along with the minister, a number of ministers, government ministers who we expected to have, and we're even trying to get the Prime Minister to be a part of it. And it's a panel involved a number of persons, speakers from the Defense Force, the Royal Bahamas Police Force, the Urban Renewal Program, the Family Group, Dr. David Allen, he'll be speaking, the Scout Association, Mr. Andrew Pinder, from the Pathfinders, that's the Seventh-day Adventist Youth Group. There'll be Pastor Jamal Franklin from GRIP, Gang Reduction Intervention, Pastor Henry Higgins. And Pastor Henry Higgins will begin his launch this week, Wednesday to be exact, in the Baintown, Rupert-Dane Lane area. And so 6 o'clock, you can meet him on the corner of Rupert-Dane Lane and Ponciana Drive. His group, Gang Reduction Intervention, Pastor Henry Higgins, will be in the Bain and Grandson area, beginning at the corner of Ponciana Drive and Rupert-Dane Lane. And then you're going to hear a testimony from William Lund. It's not the fall, it's the getting up that counts. That's a powerful testimony from a young man I grew up with. And there were times when I would duck him, don't want to see him, run away from him. And now look at today, all of us in ministry together. So that's some symposium coming up. I see the smile, Jackie, on the 15th. And then on the 17th, yeah, we will be supporting the persons at the Department of Corrections. And so we want to, I will be approaching my sponsors this week coming up. Don't forget, as Father's Day luncheon, we will be feeding a number of the residents there along with their families. Each person have got an invitation to invite a family member there. And we'll be socializing with them, eating, drinking, just talking and sharing with some of these men who have made some negative choices, but we don't give up on these young men. That's on the 17th, Saturday, 2 p.m. at the Bahamas Department of Corrections, formerly known as the prison. If you wish to partner with us, I'm still looking for sponsors as we provide all the food, the care packages. Once again, you can WhatsApp me, 433-6917. And then on the 24th, we're having a Climate Forward Day. Now, those of you, if you're like me, past 50 years old, that don't apply to you, Jackie. You don't reach 50 yet. But if you're like me, remember Climate Forward? He's known as a karate man, but I can remember as a young man, Climate Forward started these marching bands. And so we're going to have the Climate Forward Day. That's the 24th Saturday of June. We're anticipating having it at the Fish Fry. We already have confirmation, karate demonstrations. We're going to have a number of marching bands. We're going to have the antique show. The bikers has already confirmed. And then they're going to have a fun day for men, board games, tournament, checkers, chess, and darts. I'm encouraging you as a male, don't meet me there. You have to beat me there. And for the women, you also must come there and support. Okay, so we're looking for you to support it. And then in September, we will be partnering with men's organizations for us to prostate cancer screening. So I will be the voice on the line. And I'm encouraging all of my male friends listening by radio, TV. You join me. If you need a ride, you contact me at 433-6917. September the 19th, Elizabeth Estates, the 21st, Flamingo Gardens, the 26th, South Beach, and the 28th, Fleming Street. And then we're going to have on the 19th, a Father's Back to School commitment. Of course, you'll hear more about these events. And then in November, we will be having Daddy's Boys production. And this is going to be a production at the Atlantis, over at Atlantis, over Paradise Island. That's November 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And so we're reaching out to our men. We've heard your cry. And a number of us as men's group organizations have come together. And then on November 19th, International Men's Day, we're looking to honor at least 50 men as part of the 50th celebration of independence of this country. So we're encouraging and calling for you as men to get involved. Today, friends, on this program, Transforming Lives, thank those of you, I know you're waiting to hear from our guests on a hot topic. But we believe on this show, Jackie and I, that a true transformation takes place through Jesus Christ. There's absolutely no doubt about it. After 20 years in the prison, I can share of transformation that has taken place, and many of you also. And so anytime we begin this program, we have Dr. Leslie McMillan, a Bahamian retired pastor, financial analysis, who lives in the US. And he begins with what we call Moments with Christ. He gives us a 5-minute devotion. And after that, I will then, my co-host will come on, and she will take the lead in the show, and I will be right there. So I said to her, and I'll say to everybody else, all the weight on my shoulders. I accept responsibility for any and everything. Dr. Macmillan, are you there, sir?
Yes, sir, I am.
Talk to me about Moments with Christ.
Okay, we'll give you a moment. And understanding what's happening this afternoon, I quote John chapter 1 and verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. And there was nothing that was made without him, and through him everything was made. And it didn't stop there. Verse 14 says, and the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. That's Jesus Christ. What I want to establish in our minds this afternoon is that there's nothing on this planet that has not been created and planned and orchestrated by God the Father through Jesus Christ the Son, and for us today through the Spirit. And when we think on that and we reflect on what Jesus Christ offers, it is obvious that something happened. It is obvious that something got lost. It is obvious that something got disconnected. It is obvious that what we now see needs to be made over again. So in the Bible, you will find that God the Father is always calling through the Son for persons to reunite with him, for persons, and listen to this one, persons to be made over. I am reminded of the text in Corinthians that says, if any person, any human being be in Christ, he becomes a new creation. It means that a new creation is needed. Whatever we may discuss today or tomorrow or any time to come, because of what has happened way back in the Garden of Eden, many things are not as they ought to be, but they all can be rectified, unified, made new in this man, Christ Jesus. Hence, we take our hats off to Jackie and to Dave for allowing this moment that we can reflect that there is a power above us, beyond us, before us, more powerful than us, that can make all things right, not only for now, but for eternity. And that power is in Jesus Christ by faith. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mack. You know, I just want to let the show know I endorse all that was said. I'm sure Jackie can speak for herself, that we recognize that the only power is in and through Jesus Christ. That's the only way, the transformation that can take place. I just want to say greetings to the lady who just sent me a WhatsApp. She's all the way in from the Family Island. And there's so many people joining us from all around. And wow, already I'm telling you, the numbers keep going up. My WhatsApp already started coming in. Persons just called me on my phone, so they want to call in live. But today, folks, I just want to turn it over to Jackie as we talk about this powerful topic, transgender in the school. Somebody messaged me and said, we should at least teach it from an awareness perspective. Jackie, welcome to the program, Transforming Lives.
Thank you so very much. It is great to be here. Happy Sunday, everyone. I hope that you are enjoying a beautiful day. As it was said, our topic for the day is transgender in the Bahamas, and we have two powerful guests. We have in our room, but just before we go into our guests, someone might ask, who is a transgender or a transgender individual? Before we discuss the topic, it is said that transgender individuals are people who gender identity is different from the gender they were born with. Now, these individuals, like I just said, these are individuals whose gender identity is different from the gender they were born with. So we have two powerful persons, like I said, and I am eager to go to our guest. I know they're ready. We are eager to hear, but just before I go to our guest, once again, call your friends. Let's do it very quickly so that we can get this conversation started. Call your friend, call your family members, call your enemies. Now, you shouldn't have enemies, but if you have enemies, they're just enemies. They're people just like us. So invite them to listen to the show Transforming Lives. And this is the show where we believe that true transformation takes place under the supernatural power of Jesus. This show today is designed to educate, inform, and inspire. We want to just put it right out there to the very beginning of the show that this is about respect for humanity. So on this show, we know that each individual is created by God and as a result should be respected. So we want to just discuss in a very healthy and respectful manner this whole issue with respect to transgender in the Bahamas. So let's go to our guest. The first guest that I'd like to introduce is Miss Ladies First. So let's go with Miss Ginger Jenkins. She's from Protect the Children. Welcome to the show, Miss Jenkins. Can you please just tell us a little bit more information about yourself? Let's start with you.
Well, I'm going to be brief. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome aboard Flight 242 Bahamas. We will be cruising at an altitude today that is going to be very uncomfortable for most of us. Goodness. But we're not alarmed. Jesus Christ is our pilot, and our co-pilot is going to be Mr. Cassius Stewart. I am your chief steward, and we will be flying with an experience that we're going to experience some great turbulence, but hold on to your seats. Your oxygen mask will drop, and it will be the Bible. We will open that, and we will focus as we sit back and wait for the control tower to give us the time to lift off. My name is Ginger Jenkins. I'm the chairperson for Protect the Children and a strong advocate for children.
Wow, blast off. I mean, you already love it, love it. And our second guest in the room, he's no stranger to any one of us, Mr. Cassius Stewart, and he is the founder. There's something special about the founder. He is founder of Protect the Children. Welcome to the show, Mr. Cassius Stewart. Likewise, give us some more information about yourself.
Jackie, I am just a voice. I am just a vessel. I am just an instrument to charge every Bahamian it's time to wake up because the war has begun. The war has begun and we cannot sleep. God has given us charge to protect our children, and that's why we are here on the show today. It is paramount that we educate as many people as we possibly can about the dangers that are coming and the war that is about to hit us, our shores. We got to be ready. We got to have our feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. We got to have the sword of the spirit. We got to have the breastplate of righteousness. And we got to have our loins girded with the word of truth. And so I'm ready. Let's go.
Word. That's word. I mean, you have scripture from beginning to the end. Thank you so much. But before we dive in, just tell us a little bit about your organization. When was it formed and for what purpose?
Well, the Protect the Children Foundation was formed as a result of the LGBT thrust and the possible indoctrination of our children in the Bahamas. And I had 5 million people from America reach out to me and throughout the Caribbean, and they said, listen, we have to do something. And as a result of that, persons right within our sphere in the Bahamas, like Ginger Jenkins and many others who formed the executive core, I said, listen, we want to do something. We want to be a part of that. And that became the impetus and the birth of what we call the Protect the Children Foundation. The interesting thing enough is that it's not a local or a Nassau-based organization. It's a global organization. And so we are now working with people in Barbados. We're working with people in Trinidad. We're working with people throughout the Caribbean. Also, we have people in New York who have also signed up to be a part of the organization. And so it's growing within the United States as well. And so from the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, we will lead the charge to protect the children all around the world. I need to remind you that we have scores of people in Africa, just about every continent of Africa has reached out to us and say, listen, they support, they want to be behind what we're doing. And so it's become a global organization to protect the children, not only in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, but around the world. And so we have to let our voices heard, that the Bahamas will be the remnant that will speak loudly throughout the four corners of the earth. The children of the world will not be swallowed up by the devil. We will not let that happen.
Wow, what a mission. Kudos to your organization. And so glad that, good news, you have good news. And so we are glad to have good news go viral in this case. All right,
absolutely.
So let's talk about it. Let's get into it. What is we gave the definition of transgender individuals. And so from the perspective of your organization, what is your role and what is your view as it relates to transgender in the Bahamas and then in our schools?
Well, first and foremost, I would like to thank all of the listeners and everybody who is on the Zoom who take the time or to be a part of this. This is a very, very critical time in the history of the world, because this is a time when the most important element of all life, which is the seed, is being under attack. And the seed of our children is being under attack. I'm mindful that this thrust is not at our generation, it is at the younger generation. It's about indoctrination. It's about transforming their minds, because they realize that the most vulnerable among us are our young people. And so I think it's important that our organization and what our organization is all about is about education, but also we have to be the moral voice of the region and for the world. And we have to speak to it. And a lot of people are benign to what's really going on. They think it's just talking about sex education, but it goes beyond that. And in this program, I want you all to forgive me now for being a little bit vulgar, because what we will say, but that's what it's all about. This thing is not about teaching about sex and about transition. It's about straight up indoctrination. This is about straight up from the seed of Satan, about how do we destroy our young kids. If I may, I'm going to lead into where we need to go. This whole thing it's about getting books into the school. I'm not sure if you've been following what's been going on in America, and the school board has been positioning and planting books throughout their libraries and planting books throughout the school system. And some of the books that they have is one called Gender Queer, some is called That's Perfectly Normal. Now, in these books, they don't teach you about, what does a boy have and what does a girl have. They teach a young boy how to give blowjobs to another male. This is what they teach him. They teach a young boy how to have anal sex with each other. This is what they teach. And this is why we cannot let this in our school system, because it's not what we used to. And this is not what we, anybody with common sense would say this is crazy. It teaches that girls, I saw a post yesterday that, girls asking their parents about their fathers about ejaculation and masturbation and heart erections and so on. That these things are just beyond crazy what they're asking and what they want children to be engaged in. And so for me as a parent, I'm saying in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, we don't need this. In the Caribbean, we don't need this type of education that they want to bring down, because they want to say it's okay for two girls to have sex with each other. It's okay if you're a 6-year-old boy and you want to have sex with another boy. That's, to me, something is wrong with that.
Right.
And so we're saying that, listen, if a man and a woman wants to do what they want to do, we can't stop them. Everybody have a right. But to bring that to the children, something is fundamentally wrong with that form of education. So transgender education it goes beyond teaching that, oh, I feel like I'm a boy, but I'm a girl, and that even half the story. And so it is important that every parent knows exactly what books are in the schools. It is important that every parent knows what they're being taught. These children are being taught in school. And I told a story that my daughter sent me a video in their religious knowledge class. They were teaching about gay marriage and accepting gay marriage. And I took exception to that. I sent it to the principal. We sent it to the higher ups in the school. And we told them we don't want that teacher in that school. She's no longer there. But we have to be the gatekeepers to the minds and ears of our children, because We are the only ones to protect them. We cannot let the state protect our children because we know that the state has already fallen victim and want to relinquish our children to the wolves, and that will not happen in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. In the 242, we will do whatever we can to make sure protect our children. Adults, we don't agree with the lifestyle of homosexuality, but that's your choice. You got to deal with God on that. But as children, we will not influence our children, no way, shape, or fashion. That will happen in the Bahamas. And this is why we're having an issue now with the U.S. Embassy pushing this. We have an issue with everybody else from the European Union and everybody coming down our throat saying that we have to do this. We don't have to do nothing. You all tell us to do what we don't want to do, and we will not do it. And so as a member of the church, I speak for the church. That ain't happening in the Bahamas.
Okay, you've said a whole lot there. So let me just drill in a little more and ask you the question in terms of it is the responsibility of parents and teachers to teach our children how to relate to those around them. Since the transgender forms a part of our community from the perspective of Save the Children, from the religious aspect, from your organization's aspect, how do you think that we teach them how to help to relate in a healthy manner to those who are from that world?
We teach our children to pray for them. We teach our children that their lifestyle is abnormal. We teach our children that that is not of God, that is from Satan. We teach our children that's a lifestyle that we don't agree with, and to pray for them. They need Jesus. They represent, they have a spiritual problem, and that's a demonic spirit. And so we teach our children the truth. We don't need to sugarcoat it. We don't need to play like we soft or nobody. Anybody who don't, if you look down and you have a penis and you think that's a vagina, something wrong with your head. That's a mental disease. Simple. That's not a, you're crazy. Simple. You have what they call genital, what the word is now? You got a genital problem. You got an issue with understanding who you are. And so a man who knows he have a penis and thinks that's a vagina, something is wrong with his head. We have a place called Silence Rehabilitation for that. I don't have time to sugarcoat it. I don't have time to buffer it. I don't have time to pretty it up. It is what it is. It is a mental problem. Because if you have schizophrenia is somebody who thinks he is something when he's not, or someone else. So if you think that you're a woman and you're a man, you have genital schizophrenia. That's what I call it. And so, we cannot sugarcoat it. And we've been sugarcoating it for too long because we figure we will offend this one and offend that one. The word of God doesn't care who you are. If you're offended, that is your problem. You deal with it. You got a problem. You got a satanic problem. You got a demonic problem. We were here to pray for you. And I teach my children to pray for them. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't butter it up. That is what it is.
Thank you. I think what I'm saying, and we're probably, I guess what I'm getting at in terms of the schools. So you're saying to teach them, the behavior is one thing, right? So we want to teach our children what we deem to be proper behavior. But while teaching that, it is very important for us to also respect humanity. Because what I'm trying to get at with this question is the fact that depending on how we deliver that message. So I am strong on the message, definitely. But we want to avoid our children thinking it is okay to bully someone based on the manner that we present that message. You see where I'm going? We want to make it crystal clear that you can hate the behavior but still love the individual. What do you think about that?
I am very suspicious of that word bully. It's we cannot say what we believe we bullying, but when the U.S. Embassy saying we doing this whether you like it or not, are they bullying us? You understand?
Talking about that. I'm with you. I'm just talking from the children, right?
What I'm saying, I'm suspicious of that word. They introduced that word from the United States. That word came in from the US, and that word was a strategic word so that we could all back down. Oh, you don't agree with me, and if I don't agree with you, then I'm a bully. No, if I don't agree with you, I don't agree with you. We have the opposing views. We teach our children truth. We don't have to teach our children foolishness for them to understand truth. We teach our children that, listen, man was made for woman and woman was made for man. That is the fundamental truth. And that has been there for 6,000 years. For 6,000 years, we've been on this earth. Man's been on this earth. And now we think that the man will be a woman and that's okay. That's not okay. We teach our children truth. See, in this world, we have something called relativism. Relativism is when you're in the time, because something is relative or becomes a fad, then it becomes okay. Truth is absolute. Truth does not vary whether the times yesterday, today, or forever. Truth is absolute. So we teach our children the fundamental truth of what life is. It has to be, see, once you embed them in truth, then when these relative fad comes up, they understand what is right. And so we don't need to teach our children about anal sex for them to know what is true. We know that that's wrong. You see?
Right.
And basic human nature teaches them that that is wrong.
Right.
What they do is they override the basic human nature, and they know in their own conscience that that's wrong, but they override their own mental conscience to accept what is wrong. So we have to constantly remind our children what the word of God says, what scripture says, what we believe as a nation, what we believe as a community, and we got to hold fast to that. And that is the fundamental issue of what we're talking about. So teaching is one thing, but you have to remember that when you're learning anything, it's best to learn the truth first. And then when you see the counterfeit, you could always recognize the counterfeit.
I think if we're 100%, we're on the same page. I think for me, you know, I'm being ambidextrous here. Two things can happen at one time. So there is the truth of the message, which you just said, and I'm totally in agreement with everything that you've said. But simultaneously, as we teach that message, we have to teach it in a responsible way so that our children would understand, yes, stand up for what you believe, but simultaneously don't violate another truth, which is to respect humanity. I guess that's what I wanted to put out there. So
the truth is absolute. There is no variation in truth, and there is no other truth. There's only truth. And so we in the Bahamas, when you say respect humanity, if somebody of the transgender is sick, we take care of them. If they call the police will come to protect them. Or everything in our society protects them. We don't harm them, we don't hurt them. We don't beat them. We don't do anything to them. We provide them the same health care that everybody else in the citizens have. And so I don't understand what you're talking about. You know, we don't hurt humanity. We don't hurt them. All we're saying is your lifestyle is not congruent with what we believe. And that lifestyle is alien to our culture. And so we have to begin to say to the nation and to everybody in sundry, there's only one truth. There's no alternative truth. And so when it comes to humanity, we respect them as people, but we don't agree with their lifestyle. And we don't embrace it, and we ain't gonna teach it, we ain't gonna support it, we ain't gonna underlinely and endorse it. No way in the Bahamas, none. We ain't allowing man and man to marry, that ain't gonna never happen. We ain't gonna allow these things to happen. Not in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
I'm with you, total support. So we're saying the same thing. You know, truth is truth, and we just presented to our listening audience and those in the Zoom room two truth. One truth in terms of, you know, God created man and woman, and that's a truth. And secondly, a truth that we need to respect all mankind. So let's go on to our next question, and let's see if we can get Ginger into the discussion. Thank you so much, sir. In terms of the increase in the desire for persons to transition. Recently, we seem to have seen an increase in persons wanting to transition. Do you have, and then Mr. Stewart can then add to the discussion in this regard, from where you sit, why do you think this is a reason? Why do you think we're now seeing, what do you think are some of the leading reasons why we're seeing persons wanting to transition?
I think one of the leading reasons is follow the crowd. Our principles and our standards has been so demoralized by what other people predict we should do when we should do it. They tell us what to say. And if one person stand up and we don't do what we need to do, it's like cockroaches. You find one, if we don't kill that one, eventually they will infest our whole home. Because of one person doing it. We have no problems with people doing their homes. We have no problems what they do with their lifestyle. I have a problem when you bring it to children. You can say what you want to say, you can do what you want to do, you can do how you want to do it. But I have a problem when you present it to children. I am a female. Mr. Cassius is a male. You are a female. Do you have a brother?
3, as a matter of
Okay,
fact.
you have a brother. If your brother says he is a transgender, he's calling himself a female, correct?
Correct.
Okay. His
Female.
identity is a female. Your 10-year-old is in the bathroom taking a bath. Your brother needs to use the bathroom. He's a female. Would you allow your brother to go into that restroom while your 10-year-old is taking a bath?
Well, see, first, personally, I tell my brother, I don't go based on how you feel. You know, how you feel, that's not, I don't operate based on feelings. If we go based on our feelings, that's unreliable.
So this is why the trend is moving on. This is why people are following the leader, because no one is trying to put education to the fact that it doesn't matter how you feel. It's what it is. You are a male. I feel like Oprah Winfrey. Do I have her money? Absolutely not. Am I in love with Stedman? Absolutely not. It is a feeling. Now, I was born into her money. I can run around and say that. But when you have people following the leader just because of, I have a problem when you're bringing it to our children.
Mm-hmm. Anything to add to that, Mr. Stewart?
You know, I think it's important that we call it like we see it. I mean, I think, you know, the European Union, the United States, the UN is trying to normalize this behavior, and they're trying to make sure that us, who they consider third worlds or barbarian or less educated people or whatever they want to call us, that we form a line and we do as they say. But it is us who are the children of the African diaspora, who are saying that, listen, something is fundamentally wrong with this teaching. We don't want this. America taught us and preached to us morals for the last 200 years. From 1776, the message was we have to live by the Judeo-Christian value system. In fact, when they built the Congress, they engraved in stone above the Speaker of the House words, "In God we trust." In fact, they also imprinted it on their dollar. Now a generation rising up and saying that, I'm not sure we trust that God anymore. And so, but the reason why they engraved it in stone, so that this generation now who wants to rub it out can't rub it out. They have a constant reminder where they came from. And we have that constant reminder. 1973, we are a Christian nation founded on Christian values, and upon those values in which every Bahamian should live. Those values are something we will not surrender. Those values are not something we will not retreat on. We have to stand fast to our value. And so these people who feel like they want to transition and we must accept that as normal, we will not accept that as normal. If you're a man and you have an X chromosome, whether you have on a dress or pink panties, you're still a man. If you're a woman and you think you're the butch, you're still a woman. You still have periods, you still go through your menstrual cycle, you're a woman, even if you dress like a man. We got to call it like it is. I don't have time to sugarcoat it. I don't have time to play around. I don't have time to buff it up and nice, pretty it up. It is what it is. A man in a dress who wearing the pink panties is not a woman, still a man.
Still a man. Thank you so much.
Let me just ask a question to our guests, because someone said, they said their belief is that it should be taught in the school as an awareness. So just stick with me for a minute now. So what this individual said to me, that, and this individual spoke from a Christian perspective. They said, you should tell the children in school that you're created in the image of God and He made them male and female. But there are cases of persons who are claiming or saying or perceiving, whatever word we use, that they have this feelings. So they're saying that they felt that it should be taught in the school, but only from a point of awareness. What does my guest respond on that?
Well, you know, I am so protective of my children. And when I mean my children, I'm talking about all the children of the Bahamas. If we teach them that God has made male, female, 2 genders, and we teach them that life is populated through those 2 genders, why we need to teach anything else? If they see something else, they will know something is wrong with that. We don't have to teach them that somebody feel that way. They'll know when somebody is wrong. I mean, that's what they taught us. In fact, we've been taught that for the last, 50, 60 years. And so why we got to bring something awareness? We don't have to make them, we make them aware of what the truth is. And they will recognize and they will spot the counterfeit. When banks train their tellers, they don't train their tellers with counterfeit, they train their tellers with the original dollar. So that when you spot a dollar that is not right, you expel it. So let's teach our children what is right. Man and a woman, we don't have to bring them an awareness. They will see what's going on YouTube and they will say, listen, something is wrong with that.
My question to that person that sent that message, what are we teaching them to be aware of? What do you want them to be aware of? That is okay that your little boy, who you christen as John, now wants to put on a dress and be called Jackie because he sees another child? What is the awareness? Why are we compromising our morals, our principles, and our standards for awareness? We are aware of who we are. You said God created. You quoted the Bible. So you know the creation of the awareness. What else do we have to aware? What else we have to make a child aware of?
All right. So I love where you're going. But so I like the example that he used in terms of the original money and counterfeit. You would notice that, yes, the bank will start with the original, right? But they'll also make you aware of a counterfeit. They will train you also to identify that. And I think what Dave was saying with that particular individual, and so I'm just trying to think, from a broader view, is if they are not aware, not to say condone it or endorse it or say this is a lifestyle for you to follow, but that such people share such views, make them aware that these views do exist so that they can protect themselves. If even, knowledge is power. So if you are aware of the information, then you can better, that's what I'm thinking, protect yourself.
I don't trust them one bit to even let them sneak that in the Bahamas. Don't even bring that around the Bahamas, because
I agree.
Next thing you know, it's awareness, then it's something else, then it's something else.
Totally
we
agree.
Don't want it nowhere to schools. Don't even bring it near the shores of the Bahamas, because we understand if we teach them about natural sex, we teach them about biology, we teach them about man and a woman. That's the only way to replenish the earth. A man and a man, two man, booging around, don't bring no life to the planet. Why we want to teach them that?
You notice somebody said they disagree. Question: one, you think one of the places would be prepared to mute and say why they disagree? The person who disagreed, are you prepared to mute and say why you disagree with the statements that were made just now?
You had 100 people who agree. Let them talk too.
Right. We give them
so
a
don't
chance,
just focus on the people who disagree. Focus on everybody who have an opinion on this, who say no, they don't want their children to be subjected to this. Not just the one person who disagrees. So the problem with us is that we always compromising to the one who disagree, and we give. Listen, in the Bahamas, the transgender we only have about 10 transgender people in the Bahamas. We have 400,000 people. Why are we giving them all this voice? In America, only 7% of the population is transgender. 93% don't believe in that, but they get all the voice. You want to give one person who disagree, give the rest of the people an opportunity to speak too.
Right.
I think what we as adults are getting confused with, there is no prejudice here. Our goal is to protect our children. Let our children be children. When they become an adult and they see what the world has to offer, then they bring it to us as parents and we help them. But I want our children to grow up as children. They don't have to know anything about transgenderism. They know they are a boy and they know they are a little girl. That's all they need to know from 5 years old until they get 14. After 14, we as adults, we get curious and we try to explore the world. But until then, I don't care if they agree or they disagree. Our thing is, let our children live a child's life. Suffer the little children to come unto me, for such is the kingdom of God. We do not need to indoctrinate our children's mind with the nonsense that adults feel that they can impose on our children. Let's call it right. Kids are kids. If that's the case to all of you that are listening, why don't you take your kids into your bedroom at night? When you decide to make love to your husband or your wife, just let them sit in a corner and watch you. Who's best to learn from but you? Don't let the UN or America come and corrode our young children's mind to adult situation. That is absolutely immoral and wrong. Now, once they get to college age and they're going off to college, they can understand that. But I would not want to know that my 8-year-old come and ask me anything about masturbation. I would not want my 8-year-old to come and ask me anything how babies were made. Once upon a time, we used to say the stork dropped them off. So if it was good to tell the stork dropped them off then, why are we so open now? Because we have lost our standards and our principles and our moral, because somebody think it's okay for us to teach our children.
Nonsense. You know, Ginger, can I make in New York, just a bit of education. In New York, they've passed several laws. One, they just passed a law to strip away rights from parents, but they also passed a law. They have what they call a drag queen hour, where drag queen men dress women goes into school from kindergarten up to 12th grade, and they perform for 1 hour, right? They dress up in these lewd costumes and with erections and so on. They let the children touch their genitals. The US has now passed a law in New York that if parents speak out against any drag queen hour, they go to jail. Okay? This is what they're doing in the United States of America, in New York. The organization who's joined forces with us is fighting them tooth and nail, and we are fighting them with them. These people don't care about educating. They want to destroy our children. And the reason why I'm ferocious and the reason why I'm angry is because I will not let them come on the shores of the Bahamas to bring that nonsense to the Bahamas. That woman is picked from the US Embassy, but it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay to come to the Bahamas to teach my children about drag queens, about men dressing up as women and showing off their breasts and their penis to the children. And I've seen videos where they do that. I've seen videos where parents standing up and cheering on the drag queens as they give the drag queens, as they parade around their children and touch these little children. They are sick in their mind. These people are demonic. They are straight from hell. And I will not let them come to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, not over my dead body and not over hundreds of Bahamians' dead body. That ain't coming to the Bahamas. I didn't let them know. Don't bring that garbage this way. Drag queen hour, transgender teaching in the schools. No school would be, I'd rather my children to be dumb as hell than to go to school to learn that trash.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's go now. Thank you so much, sir. Let's get some comments out. This hour is gone quickly. Let's see if we have anybody in the Zoom room or on Facebook would like to make a contribution to the discussion. We have limited hours, so make it brief, make it short. Let's go. Anyone has a question or a comment? Very quickly. We got 10 minutes. I see lots of comments in the chat. Anyone has a question they'd like to?
While they're deciding if they're coming in, Miss Jackie, let me just say this real quick. This is not a prejudice status. A lot of people don't understand that this transgender movement is basically population control. That's what this is all about. When we start sterilizing our babies, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, we are cutting off their generation population. When we turn little boys into little girls, they can't have babies anymore. When we turn little girls into little boys, they can't have babies anymore. So how do they go with their population? This is simply population control. A heterosexual can have babies. 2 homosexual can, but their sperms are still vital. They can sell it. They can put it in a test tube. They can put it in a turkey baster, and they can give it to anybody they feel like giving it to. They are still populating. 2 lesbian women cannot have babies, but they can go to 2 homosexual and say, hey, we need to have a child. They can put it in a turkey baster. They can put it in a syringe, and they still populate. But when we go to our children and we start giving them medication to transform them from what they was not and make them who they think or feel they are, we have a problem because now we are going into population control. It's like giving your 10-year-old birth controls. It's okay, Susan, take this birth control just in case Johnny feels you up at 9 years old. And we have to understand this is not against anyone living the life that they feel they ought to live. This is about population control to my children, your children, and the world.
One of the things that they are advocating for as transgender is what they call gender affirming care. And if most of you all have never heard of gender affirming care, is that they want the state, and they're advocating for this in the Bahamas. They want the state, they want PMH to give them hormones, boys, so that they can grow breasts.
That's right.
They want to, so that they can begin to cut off their penis, and they want males to grow beard and other nonsense like that. They want, so it's called gender affirming care. And I told them there's no way in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas that we're going to pay for any gender mutilation of any of our children. One, we are not going to pay for males to have breasts in the Bahamas. We are not paying for it. In fact, we get so much sick people in the Bahamas, we can't even pay for cancer patients. These fellas want breasts. You know, I mean, they just out of their mind, straight up out of their mind. And they're advocating as if that's some kind of divine right for them to have that. And so this is why we speak, and this is why we fight, because these things are straight from Satan himself. And listen, that is a demonic spirit. When you possess, this spirit possess these young men and they now figure they're women, that's a spirit, that's a demon spirit. There's no way a man could want to be a woman. That's a demon spirit.
All right, so thank you. I see they even stole our alphabet. Okay, I can't get all the comments as it is coming up. So, let's just stay there for a minute. We say it's a demonic spirit, and we say that we are a religious nation, Christian nation. Some say religious, some say Christian. So, beyond from a Christian perspective, then, what are we as a nation prepared to do? We said we are Christians, and we would not. What are we prepared to do? Let's hear what the Christian community is doing to prevent this from infiltrating our Bahamas.
Well,
let's hear.
What we are doing, one is we're reaching out to all of the churches. In fact, last week I spoke to St. John's Society Convention. All of their churches gather, and they ask the same questions we're asking here. It's the same kind of forum about transgender. They wanted to be educated so that they know what to do. And so I had an opportunity to speak to many other pastors. On June 24th, the 24th of June, we are holding a national rally of anti-transgender indoctrination of our children on Oranbelly Park. So that's one thing. So all of the churches will be involved. We're getting all of them involved to be a part of sending a message to the government of the Bahamas and also the government of the Caribbean that, listen, the people of the Caribbean are not standing for that. And so we are beginning to be charged to be and speak out against this agenda. You know, one of the things they asked me, and one of the things I'm mindful of, is that, you know, how they insult God. The rainbow was given after the fall, after the flood, and God said he said something, I'm going to put a rainbow in the sky, and that's going to be a covenant between me and every living creature on the planet. Notice he didn't say between him and just man. Every living creature, the roaches, the flies, the wasp, the horse, that rainbow is a covenant between God and them, that he will not destroy the earth because of sin. The animals didn't sin, you know, we sinned. And he destroyed them, but he told them that he ain't gonna destroy them because of us no more. We took the very same thing that he used to remind himself not to destroy us and flaunt it back in his face to promote sin. And so God is upset, God is angry, but the entire creation is groaning because that rainbow ain't got nothing to do with just us and God. They insult the roaches when they flaunt that rainbow back in God's face. They insult the flies. And this is why everybody's upset. And so we talk about, now we get back to the point of climate change. Do you know why we have such erratic weather all over the world? It ain't got nothing to do with combustion engine. It's because human behavior throughout the world is detestable. And the earth itself is angry. and the earth will spit us out according to Leviticus 28, because we are doing detestable things. When you're trying to teach young boys how to have anal sex with each other, that is detestable. And the earth is angry. And so don't be surprised if you have more floods and hurricanes. They can tell you it's because of climate change. It ain't got nothing to do with no car engine, it ain't got nothing to do with no exhaust. Because our behavior is detestable, not only to God, but to every living creature, to the earth itself. That's why everybody's angry.
I understand and I appreciate why persons are angry, but I guess we need to move beyond anger and move to action. And so that's why I was asking, what are Christians now going to do? Anger is good, right? So God says when his people pray, things happen. So yes, be angry. Yes, do the physical action. All those things are good. But since we say we are a religious nation, then we have to depend on that same God, seek his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to help us, help to lead the way. So we need to put some prayer in there. That's all I was trying to get there. All right, let's see if we have anybody else. Okay, somebody is agreeing with that.
My thing, Miss Jackie,
Go
is
ahead.
I can't, for the life of me, figure out why no government is speaking out against this. No Christian council is speaking out against this.
You're looking at my script right now. That's my was gonna end with the Christian council. Go ahead.
I mean, no pastors, no bishops, no one is speaking out against this, and I cannot figure out why. Yes, you're telling us to pray. Pray without work is dead. It doesn't matter. We can pray till the cows come home. If we don't put it forth, it's not gonna happen. One of the things back in my day growing up, I may look young, but I kind of have some age on me. One of the things I realized as I grew up, if the church did it, everybody fall in line, because it came from the word of God. It came from the church. And now it's looking like the churches are running away from it because nobody is speaking up against it. Nobody. And I cannot understand if we are a Christian nation. Where are the Christians?
All right. So thank you so much.
Jackie.
Yes, but over to you, Dave.
Yeah, I just need to sign off the radio. We can continue on Zoom and we can open it up for some comments and questions from the others. We could stay on for at least another half an hour, right? On Zoom. But I just want to sign off the radio. For those of you listening to the program, we're on Transforming Lives on Global 99.5, Cable TV 974. I want to remind you of a few things before we go off the air live. A cookout in the back of the police station, Elizabeth Estates. We invite you to support the young people. They're going to a judo competition in the United States. Also want to remind those of you from Prison Fellowship Bahamas, thank you for your support of the cookout. Contact me at 433-6917. If you still have a ticket and you did not get your food. No, the cookout was last week, was Monday past. We want to make it up to you in one way or the other. I want to remind you of a number of men's events on the 15th, a men's symposium at the Gary Curry and Myrtle Curry Center, Evangelistic Temple, Collins Avenue. We're inviting you to be a part of it. Men Talk, it's men coming together to share. We're inviting our women. Also on the 18th is a Father's Day event at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. And so we're inviting persons also to be a part of it as we provide Father's Meal and care packages for men incarcerated at the medium security at the Department of Corrections. And on the 24th, it's a men's event at the Fish Fry. There'll be the car show, the motorbikes on display, board games, the Clement Ford Battle of the Bands. And so we're inviting you to be a part of it. And as we sign off this program, you're listening to Transforming Lives, Global 99.5, Cable TV 974. You can go and join us on Zoom, YouTube, or Facebook. WhatsApp me at 433-6917. I'll send you the link. We end this program the way we always end by reminding you that there's nothing more important than our personal relationship with Jesus Christ, who alone gives us eternal life. Whether you proclaim to be a transgender or whatever, you must have a relationship with Christ. That's the only way you and I will have the eternal life that's found in Jesus Christ. Dave Williams, Jackie Gardner, transforming lives on Global 99.5, Cable TV 974. Have a wonderful Sunday afternoon. Okay, we can continue the conversation. We're just off the air. Someone asked me, yes, it is an affiliation with Dr. David Allen. Okay, yes, he will be one of the speakers.
I would just like to remind everybody about the rally on Aaron Bailey Park on June 24th. I need every parent, every teacher, every mother, every grandmother, everyone who feels that we must protect our children to be there. We're going to have a list of dynamic speakers. We have people flying in from Barbados and Trinidad to be a part of this. And we're going to send a clear message to the Caribbean and the governments around the Caribbean that, listen, the people of the Bahamas will not stand for this. The people of the region will not stand for this. We are protecting our children and we will fight for our children.
Right. So what I want to do too, I know there are persons who want to maybe open up their mics and give a comment or ask a question. Pastor Williams, I just want to ask them, they can put up their hands, and I'm letting Pastor Williams, our technical person, to be aware of those individuals, or Jackie, so we can give others a chance to participate. Is there a question? We see so many comments. We're standing with you for our children. So many comments, too many to count. I didn't count, but 60-something comments alone. But I want to open it up now. There are persons who want to make a comment or ask a question. Is anybody else? So I see a hand, Kyle Murray. Go ahead, Kyle. Pastor Williams, can Kyle unmute? Kyle Murray. Kyle, can you unmute?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead. I think Kyle is having a challenge with his audio. Until then, is there someone else? And Kyle, maybe can try. There's somebody else. Jackie, are you still there? Can you monitor to see if somebody else? Separation Lifestyle Ministry, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Elder Dave, and to your guests. I want to ask, Brother Cassius Stewart, I just been reminded of the referendum on the gambling and what have you, and we had a resounding no. And the government still went ahead and went against the Christian people or Bahamian people's wishes. How far is your organization prepared to go and to stand with this agenda and to sensitize everybody that need to be sensitized? Because I know when we get under pressure, our U.S. visa in jeopardy, our business making money, all of this can come into play and people can stand down. And so I would know how far you're willing to go. And also I want you, when you incorporate in your speech, to include the grandfathers, the godparents of every sort, because we have some godparents doing some serious things, teaching these children other things that we ought to be teaching. So I want to encourage you of my support as much as I can. I'll be praying for you. I'll be giving you all the moral support and standing with you. But how do you think we're going to fare when the government of the Bahamas tells you to stand down? Will we stand down like the last time?
Well, you know, they don't know who I am. And they're going to learn quick, fast, and hurry that when it comes to the children of the Bahamas. See, one thing you realize, America holds most of our debt. So we have an $11 billion debt, and most of that we owe to America. Most of the tourists that come to the Bahamas comes from America. So they hold our economy in their hands, right? America has the most powerful army in the world, most powerful military in the world. One button they could press to blow the whole entire Bahamas away. You know, and so knowing those parameters, when it comes to our children, they might as well just press the button because they ain't having our children. We ain't gonna retreat, we ain't gonna surrender. And so we have to be willing to die for our children. We got to be willing to die for what we believe. And this is what I want every Bahamian to understand. If we surrender our children, we have no future. We have no country, we have no life. If we surrender our children, as small as our country is, if we surrender this to them, we have no future. And guess what? When we stand before God, we will all have to give an account. And I guarantee you, he will condemn all of us who give 1 inch to these people to destroy our children. These people are preaching the doctrine of Satan. The doctrine of Satan. If the church scared to talk about it, that's their business. Cassius Jordan scared to talk about it. This is the doctrine of Satan. And we got to be ready to fight this with everything we got. Governments, whether we need a change in administration, then we know how to call an election. We know how to make an election call right away. We could say, listen, we want a new agenda right away. And if this PLP government is pushing an agenda that we don't believe, we will make sure they don't go into parliament. We will make sure that, listen, we want a new mandate today. And that's the extent of which we're willing to go. We want to make sure, put people in parliament who hold fast to the preachings and the teachings of what we believe. We can't keep electing these immoral people and expect them to do moral things. We elect these people, we know they're immoral. We know they're deep in sin. We know they're deep in homosexuality, but we still elect them and call it, oh, these are nice people. Don't expect nothing good from them. There ain't nothing good coming out of them. You cannot expect apple from an orange tree. And so what they're producing now is what they've been planning for years to destroy our children. Cassius Jordan ain't standing for that. I don't want you to stand for that. I need you all to stand up. Everyone who's watching me now on this Zoom, stand up for what you believe. Stop electing these immoral people. These people are destroying our country. They're going after your children, your grandchildren. They want to destroy them. They don't want to just dress them up in dress. They want to cut off the penis. They want to make sure these girls cannot produce. They're going after one thing, the image of God. The devil don't like the image of God, and they want to stop the procreation of life. In the Bahamas, that ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. We will not retreat, and we will not surrender.
Well, to piggyback off you, Mr. Cassius, to the gentleman, I find myself in the position as Esther. If I perish, let me perish, but I'm going to do everything in my power to protect our children. Because at the end of the day, our children is our future generation. The vice president is coming here. What is she coming for? Has anybody ever stopped to think that ever since Kamala Harris was the vice president or Biden, they never came to the Bahamas? Now, all of a sudden, they are coming to the Bahamas to do what? To help push this gender and bring an envelope that says, I'm giving you a donation for it? We need to look at how we are selling our souls. We as Christians preach on Judas selling Jesus out for 30 pieces of silver. We ain't no different from Judas. Because every day we are selling each other out. For what? And we are losing all the immorals that we have. The U.S. went to Saudi Arabia. They can't put that in Saudi Arabia. They can't put that in Russia. They can't take that to China. Why are they bringing it to us? Why are they bringing it to countries that they think will fall at their feet? We need to hold standards. We need to stop falling for everything. If we have government in positions that is going to punish us because we believe in our morals, then we are voting for the wrong people. If we have people in power that is going to punish us for what we believe in, then we are voting for the wrong people. Like I said earlier, and I'll say it again, I have not seen or heard not one politician speak out against this. I have not heard the government speak against it. I have not heard the FNM speak against it. I have not heard the COI speak against it. I have not heard the Baptist Council speak against it. I haven't heard anybody speak against it. So what are we doing?
Sorry, I saw Catherine Sweeting has a hand. Go ahead, Catherine, unmute your mic and share your comments or ask a question. Catherine Sweeting? I guess she's gone. So we just always, as usual, we want to give others a side. There's someone else, you have a question you wish to ask our guest or make a comment? Go ahead.
Hi, yes, this is apparently your host had me not able to unmute, but they unmuted me just now. Yes, Catherine, Mr. Stewart and Ginger, you're doing a great job. I too am a part of Protect the Children group. And I love Mr. Stewart's spirit. It's just like mine. I find as a Bahamian people, we are too passive and we don't like to suffer loss for the good of a cause. We as Bahamians have to be prepared to suffer loss. I saw on the cable news the other day with Target store selling these LGBT transgender children's clothing. And in a matter of, I'm not sure of the time frame, I think it might have been a week, they lost $10 billion because Americans were prepared to say we stand against this. And I don't care if I have to pay a higher price at another store. I'm going to punish you by hitting you where it hurts, is in your finances. So I will go to another store and pay a higher price for the good of the cause. I just want to encourage all of us as Bahamians, we ought to stop hiding behind the tree and throwing stones and grumbling on our little groups and complaining and not wanting to be bold and courageous and take a stand. And it's going to sometimes be uncomfortable to take a stand. It's going to sometimes mean you have to spend more monies because you have to boycott certain stores. It's going to sometimes mean you can't eat food, whatever it takes. I'm trying to say, just as Mr. Stewart is passionate about this, I'm hoping that God will invoke a spirit of boldness and courage in the Bahamian people for us to stand for our Christian values. There's nothing wrong. You can speak out. I think too many of us listen to the fear of America. Oh, America's going to do this and this one going to do it. So if America's going to do it, they're not greater than God. And I'm almost certain, not almost, I know my God in whom I believe will not allow me to punish because I stand for righteousness. I just wanted to say that.
Okay, so I saw Annette had a hand. Let's talk with Annette. Annette, unmute your mic. Annette, Pastor Williams, make sure Annette can unmute the mic.
Go ahead, Annette.
Go ahead, Annette.
Good evening, good afternoon, Pastor Dave and your guests, Minister Stewart and Gardner. Good evening, everyone. Listen,
Good evening.
I am on this agenda for this march. You know what amazes me or what puzzles me? We have pastors who saw, hey, this country ain't going nowhere, or I could make a difference. Jump into politics out their pulpits. Say they're running for office, public office, and they can't defend their children, their grandchildren. They can't stand up, and we have some right there in Parliament whose lips are zipped, sealed. I'm wondering if the church really is a body of believers now. Really believe what they preaching against immorality and stuff like that. You know, I'm so sorry. I asking God to forgive them and forgive us as believers for this nonsense zipping up. Come on. You jumping off your pulpit to run for office for a couple dollars. I don't know what all the reason they run into it for. But you see trouble. You see, like someone said, our future is in trouble. The nation, our future, the children, and you zipping up. You ain't jumping up to start talking. Or you just silently praying. Come on, start the prayer line and get on that park. Start the revival in prayer. Start those revival. They can't lock you for praying in public. Let's do it, churches and pastors. All y'all who on this Zoom, let's get together as believers. Start shouting what you believe. Let it be sounded on the housetop. That's when we know you're serious. Because so praying in your church, little bit, that ain't all. Come out publicly, because these people coming out publicly, raising flag and all that kind of stuff. We got to do better.
Okay, thank you. I see Siobhan Hall, she has a hand up. Go ahead, Siobhan, unmute your mic.
Good evening, everyone. I'm actually tuning in from Bermuda. Great contribution, Mr. Stewart and Ms. Jenkins. I agree with the last contributor, the lady. I feel, and it's just I'm saying, it may touch some persons, but We are being we are compromising too much in this country when it comes to speaking up for truth, when it comes to protecting our children. We have to get from behind the computer screens. We have to get from outside of the four walls of the church and our buildings. We got to be the voice for our precious children. We can't compromise. If we have to stand on toes, we have to do that. We have to stand up for the children. We can't no longer compromise. And like Ginger indicated, the VP of the United States is not just coming to, I guess, encourage the Caribbean leaders. It's an agenda. She came from Africa, so now she's headed to the Bahamas. And we cannot no longer be passive people. We have to stand up. We have to protest. We have to stand up against this. We can no longer compromise and tolerate what is going on globally. We have to be the trendsetters within the Caribbean. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Siobhan Hollis. Jackie is still here. If anybody else, any questions, comments, anything that anybody wish to share as we talk about, the topic was, should we talk about transgender in the schools, should or shouldn't, and awareness. Somebody used the word, they talked about awareness. Another person mentioned about we should share about it from a biological perspective. You know, someone is just sharing with you what others were saying. Someone said we should have talked about it from a biological perspective. But if there's no more questions come in, I'll go back to our guests. We got another 13 minutes. Oh, Kyle Murray, go ahead, Kyle. Let's see if Kyle can unmute their mic, please. Go ahead, Kyle. Pastor Williams, and ensure that Kyle can unmute the mic.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Hello, good day. Yes, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yes. Well, I had a comment to make, I think, on something someone would have said based on the human rights. Now, when we understand what human rights is, we think about something that is involuntary, something that is infringed upon another person without them having the power to fight back, right? So therefore, you have these human rights organizations that is the voice of people that cannot speak for themselves. But when we convolute human rights with factoring in the LGBT agenda, these persons have a right, they have a choice, right? The mere fact that they are pushing for a gender-affirming care shows that they are trying to change. So this is not something that is are supposed to be a violation to them, but they are pushing this because this is something that they want. See, we all have choices, you know. All right, God made us free moral agents. So Satan, the devil, he was once a beautiful angel in heaven. He was created a free moral agent. His choice was to do wickedness. His choice was to be evil. God did not make him evil. He made him a beautiful angel in heaven. Just as God would have made these persons who want to change their sex orientation. God made them who they are. So yes, God made them. But God made them beautiful. The Bible says God made everything beautiful in his sight. So they are beautiful in their sight. They decide now that they want to change the beauty that God had created them and to appease their own self-desire. So therefore that should cancel the apply for human rights reasoning. So when we look at these persons, we have to look at their evil intent and circumvent them before they can cast a narrative. So we want to get them, we want to mitigate against the lie and the confusion that they are spreading first with themselves. And also, even in the schools, I really think that because, you know, there's a lot of cliques in schools, a lot of the young girls and the young boys, and they pushing this agenda among themselves. So it's very imperative that we get in the schools, not only that we have organization with kids who are woke, who see past this, and so they can form organizations to help one another to be able to understand themselves and understand what is right from what is wrong. Because as adults, we can say things, but we have to get the kids more interactive with this fight as well, so they can reach more persons in their sect, so they can be a positive influence to them. That's all I wanted to say on that matter.
Okay, thank you, Kyle Murray. Anybody else, as we want to give others an opportunity? This is a hot topic. 5:20, still got 60-something plus persons on the Zoom. We got on the Facebook and the YouTube. Someone said we have to be careful when we use the term human rights because that can be about anything. Another person in the comment says, talks about, they say some pastors cannot speak up out against this movement because they are secretly a part of it. If they speak out, they will expose their hidden lifestyle. And so we have so many comments, but if there's nobody else, I'm gonna maybe invite our guests to share their last comments, whatever the final closing remarks, and then we can get off the Zoom. Miss, sorry, I forgot your name, and
Ginger Jenkins.
sorry, Ginger, and
That's
Cassius
okay.
Scott, maybe you might want to share some final remarks.
I just want to give all of our listening audience food for thought tonight. When we talk about transgender, we are putting and exposing our kids to a lot. When it comes to the school, there's still only a male and a female bathroom. So when we have little boys saying that they are females that are walking into the bathrooms with our little girls, we have a problem. When we have our girls having gym showers and we have these little boys walking in there and saying they are females, we are going to find ourselves in problems. When are we going to wake up? When someone pretend to be who they're not, rape our little girls, and then we want to jump off the cliff and our parachute don't open? Don't let's be like hurricane coming and no one is prepared. And then when hurricane hit, everybody expect everybody to help you. We warned you that hurricane is coming. Now, what you do with that is up to you. But as for me, I will fight the last fight that I have. If you don't want to fight for your children, that's on you. But trust me, being the Esther that I am going to fight for my children.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us on the Zoom, and thank you for the radio audience is gone, but thank you so much for allowing us to be on the show, Jackie and David. We appreciate it, and it's a great conversation to be had, and I know there's more we have to say. But I just want to encourage every Bahamian parent, grandparent, great-grandparent, uncle, aunt, listen, June 24th is the National Anti-Transgender Indoctrination Rally in the Bahamas. Mind you, we are doing one in Barbados, one will be done in Jamaica, we'll be doing all over the Caribbean, but this is it started in the Bahamas. We want every parent to be there. We want to show the Bahamas government, and we want to show the United States government, we want to show all of them that, listen, we into that. We will not retreat and we will not surrender. Not when it comes to our children. 242, the B in the Bahamas is for big man, not for batty man.
Okay, thank you very much. Folks, I just want to thank you for taking the opportunity. I'm sure we can do another program. I recognize this show is so popular. I didn't realize this was such a hot button topic. So I'm open. I'm sure my co-host Jackie, she's open that we can have another show to have the discussion, and maybe we can take it from another angle. Jackie, is there any final remarks you wish to say? Okay, I guess Jackie has left. So I just want to encourage you.
No, I'm still here.
Go ahead, Jackie.
It's a much needed conversation. I want to say thank you so much to our two guests, and I want to wish everyone a beautiful Sunday.
Thank you.
Okay, I see somebody put in the chat a telephone number. I don't know. Okay. If they were asking our guests the telephone number.
Oh, I don't have a problem with my phone number. I am Esther. If you need a queen to fight your battle to see your king, my number is 242-822-2701.
Okay, somebody said they hope it'll be another program, and I'm saying yes, we might not get it. We definitely won't get it in before the 24th because we're promoting the men's event then it's Father's Day. But definitely, no problem. We will have another program. We're always open to the discussion. Somebody say strength and numbers take a stand. Prodestamo, my good friend, Woman United says, sorry, I missed it. And so we're just gonna leave it open for another 5 minutes. You wish to share or whatever. Before we shut it down. So we leave it over for 5 minutes. You can unmute your mic and just talk. Pastor Williams, allow everyone to unmute their mics, please, if they wish to, and they can just have a conversation. Thanks very much.
Yes, hello everyone. Powerful show.
Yes, I agree. It was very powerful. It was awesome.
Yeah, and I think the part where Mr. Stewart did talk about and the details as far as doctrinating, as far as teaching the young ones about these sex acts, that's a whole nother, it's on a whole nother level of demonic. And I think we need to really.
They know the idea of the person who said awareness. I wish the person was on so they could explain what they meant by awareness. That might not be a bad word, you know. I'm just saying now. That might not be a bad when they talk about awareness, but I wish that person was on so they could explain more. What do they mean that it should be taught as awareness? But my guess, no better over the water.
But I guess also, I think as far as Cassius and Ginger, will they be able to hand out, or before the 24th have handouts talking about their organization and what the agenda is of that other organization, the LGBT organization, trans organization, and be on the road and out and about and get the word out, you know, before the 24th? That would be very helpful.
We will be putting
rallying everybody.
We will be on the show Beyond the Headlines with Ms. Miller. We'll be giving out flyers. We will have other talk shows in reference to June 24th. So we will be able to educate the Bahamas entirety on what is happening, why it's happening, where it's happening, and what do we gain from it happening. This is not for formality or for a show. This is to save our children. This is not for political gain. This is to save our children. So we will educate the Bahamas on what we're doing, how we're doing it through other ways of medias.
On the ground also too.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Powerful show.
You're so welcome. Thank you for listening.
I'm going to try so I could get a person to share the next time. What did they mean by awareness? Because I honestly don't understand, and I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, okay?
Okay. Anytime, Mr. Williams, you need me, I am here, because my fight